Did you know that India is called the spice bowl of the world? It is because our Indian cuisine stands out for its enthusiastic use of aromatic spices. From the tangy kormas of Kashmir to coastal coconut curries of Kerala, no meal across our subcontinent is complete without an explosion of spices. From curries to biryani, soups to chutneys, spices form the very heartbeat of every Indian dish. It's no wonder that Indian cuisine has earned worldwide appreciation, seducing taste buds with exquisite blends of turmeric, coriander, cumin, and more. While lentils, vegetables, fish, and meat provide the perfect canvas, it is the spices that truly transform raw items into culinary masterpieces. No other country has elevated spices to such a revered level, both in cooking and culture. But have you ever wondered how the business of spices happen in India? Hello friends, welcome to Viyaat Research, where we talk about business case studies, industry analysis and social issues. In this video, we will talk about three things. We will dive into the history to see how spices became so popular in India. Then we will discuss the current scenario of Indian spice industry. We will also talk about the tactics you can use to start your own spice business. Spices are not a foreign addition to Indian culinary. Our diverse soil types and weathers have given us a suitable environment to produce different types of spices. We can find uses of spices in the oldest scriptures of the Vedas, where it is mentioned that spices do not only enhance taste of food but also have hygienic properties. Archaeologists have found that spices were in use even 52,000 years ago. Apart from food, spices were used in medical causes. Also, aromatic spices were offered to gods during worship. The Ramayana mentions use of clove, ginger, cumin and other spices in cooking. The marriage of Lord Rama and Sita had a humongous menu where many types of foods were prepared. Though the particular names of these dishes or their preparation methods are not mentioned, we can say that without spices, so many food cannot be prepared. During the time of Mahabharata, people used spices like sesame seeds, cardamom, cinnamon and saffron. When Bhima was disguised as Chef Ballav in the King Viyaat's kingdom, there were use of spices like cumin and asafoetida. Buddhism started spreading around 2500 years ago. Mahajan path of Buddhism forbids consumption of onion, garlic, chives, leeks and shallots, but Buddhist monks extensively used different spices like clove, mustard, cumin, turmeric and ginger. The great Tamil Sangam literature was composed around 2500 years ago, and it talks about the lifestyle of ancient India. Sangam literature has mentions of spices like black pepper, cardamom, coriander, cumin, turmeric and mustard seeds. As per another Tamil literature, Thirukkural, use of pepper started some 4000 years ago in the Malabar coast of India. Furthermore, pepper was considered as valuable as gold, and it was the reason for many foreign traders coming to India. Another important pre-modern Indian literature are the Mangal Kavyas. These are lore to indigenous Bengali deities written between 1300 and 1800 AD. These also give an idea of Indian lifestyle of that period. These texts have mentions of turmeric, fennel, ginger, clove, cardamom, cumin, asafoetida, chili and poppy seed. Cultivation of poppy seeds started around 1000 AD due to medical needs, and it was not added into our cuisine until around 1500 AD. Unfortunately, during the British rule, Indian farmers, mostly in northern states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, were forced to cultivate poppy seeds to make opium. If we look a little bit away from our kitchen, some spices were prominent in ancient Ayurveda. Both Sushruta Samhita and Charak Samhita have praised cardamom to cure different stomach and cardiac issues. Ayurveda also mentions usage of mustard to cure leprosy, turmeric to cure skin and digestion issues, clove to cure cough, pepper to cure fever, coriander and fennel to cure indigestion and more. These spices are still used in Ayurveda. The Kama Sutra, which was written around 400 BC, talks vastly about having a healthy and happy lifestyle. It mentions many spices as aphrodisiacs. As an example, cloves and cardamoms can release stress and boost testosterone level. Fenugreek is prescribed to increase quantity of mother's breast milk and better blood flow. Ginger, nutmeg and fennel are said to be libido boosters, and saffron is said to boost mood. Onion and garlic were produced all over Asia, including the Middle East, India and China. Our Ayurveda texts mentioned onion and garlic as foods that are not good for health. Hence, these were not part of our diet in old times. Our pre-modern Indian recipes have no mentions of onion and garlic. After Mughal invasion in 1500s, these gradually started becoming a part of our cuisine. As per the Mongol Kabba literature, fish and meat were cooked without onion and garlic. Early compositions of the Mongol Kabba prohibited consumptions of onion and garlic, saying that torturous Mughals consumed that, hence Bharatiya Bengali should avoid that. However, later an assimilation happened between Bengali and Mughal cuisine as more foreign invasions happened. I agree, raw onion and garlic are more like vegetables instead of spices, but these days we get them in dried powder form and we consider these as spices. In this video, I am not mentioning sugar and salt because these are not actually spices. However, an interesting fact is that crystalline sugar cube was first produced in India around 2100 years ago, and since then it has been making our life sweeter. Chili is almost integral in most food nowadays, but did you know that it is not an Indian spice? Portuguese traders brought chili in India for the first time just 500 years ago. Before that, pepper and ginger were our main ingredients to cook spicy food. We had mustard seeds 5000 years ago, but started making mustard oil much later. Mustard oil is not older than 2500 years. At first, mustard oil was used only for lighting lamps. It is being used for cooking only for the past 1500 years. Vishnu Sharma's Panchatantra, which was written some 2200 years ago, it mentioned that mustard oil was used only for lighting lamps. In compare, coconut oil is much older. We have been using it for over 4000 years, not only for cooking food, but also as Ayurvedic medicine. Other oils like sunflower, rye and rapeseed were introduced by foreign traders from Europe and China around 1500 years ago. However, to add an interesting point, Red Indians or the Native Americans were using sunflower seeds since 5000 years. It is not a new knowledge that India had been a trading superpower even 1000 years ago. Spices were one of the most prominent materials for trading alongside minerals and clothes. Bharatiya traders sailed to Mesopotamia since 5500 BC. Some popular ports were Tamralipti, Kamrup, Sopara, etc. As more civilizations emerged, Bharatiya trading also started to expand. From 3600 BC, Indian ships full of spices also sailed to Greece and Rome and came back with jewels, glass and metals. Today, spices are affordable, but it was not the case in the past. It is because of the logistics. Indian ships had to counter storms and pirates in order to reach the spices to foreign lands. The Bharatiya economy was also superior at that time, for which these spices were as valuable as gold. 450 gram ginger cost a whole ship at that time. 450 gram pepper's price was 15 gold coins. From 600 AD, Arabs started to come to India for trading. However, the Indian traders always tried to hold a monopoly of global spice trading, and for that, it was hard for foreign traders to capture the global spice market. Arabs often spread stories about spices being guarded by deadly animals to tell how hard it is to retrieve. It was just a strategy to discourage new traders from entering the spice market. Many stories from the 1001 Arabian Nights have such mentions of spices stored along with jewels and gold in secret locations. Indian and Arab traders had a mutual partnership in the global spice market. However, as foreign invasions happened more and more, Indian traders started to lose ground. From the early 1500s, Portuguese invaders took control of the spice trade by defeating King Zamorin of Calicut in the Malabar coast. Then the Dutch overpowered them in the early 1600s, and in the late 1700s, the British East India Company took control of the Indian spice market. The reason all these invaders wanted to capture spices market is because it was seen as one of the most expensive commodities due to its unavailability outside India. 450 gram nutmeg's cost was 7 healthy cows in the 1300s. At one point of the time in history, spices were treated like currency. It was used to pay rent and pay salary to laborers. Therefore, you can say that spices played a major role in changing the global economy in the pre-modern era. Britishers took tons of spices like turmeric, black pepper, cumin and cinnamon from Bharat during their ruling period. By the end of the 18th century, America also entered the global spice trading industry. I could not find much information about Indian spice companies before 1900s. It seems like the spices market of Bharat was unorganized and did not focus on branding. Big industrialists of this time like Dwarkanath Tagore had businesses of export and trading at that time. It is possible that spices was one of the commodities he kept in his voyages. The first spices brand of Bharat is MDH, established on 1919 by late Mahashaya Chunilal Gulati. The business of powdered or ground spices probably started from here. The businesses understood that ground spices give out stronger smell, and it also saved the customer the time to grind the whole spices by themselves. Thus, Garam Masala was invented, and it came and conquered the market. After independence of India, more brands like Everest, Badshah, MTR, Annapurna, etc. entered the market. After India was left exploited by the foreign invaders, these new brands faced some new issues due to the new world order. The trade routes which were used before were no longer useful. The cultivation system of spices were also harmed because invaders often forced farmers to cultivate opium and indigo, which made the soil quality poor. Political instability after independence was another unhelpful factor for all these new businesses. However, we should always remember that hard times and necessity give birth to the strongest ideas. Thus, with innovative ideas, hard work and consistency, the Indian spice market started to grow once again. The suitable environment of India along with the knowledge of our farmers played a big role in helping India retain its glory in the global spice market. Though the invaders looted tons and tons of spices, they can't actually cultivate the spices due to their adverse soil quality and weather. None of the European and North American countries cultivate spices, and they ultimately depends upon exporting spices from Asian and African countries. In terms of raw spices production, China holds the second position and India holds the first position. However, India's production is as high as 6 times more than China's production. In terms of variety, West Bengal and Gujarat produces most types of spices, followed by Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. If we talk about the quantity, Madhya Pradesh produced the most amount of spices, followed by Rajasthan, Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh. Karnataka produces the most amount of pepper, Kerala produces the most amount of cardamom and nutmeg, Andhra Pradesh cultivates the most amount of chili, and Madhya Pradesh produces the most amount of ginger, fenugreek and coriander. Telangana produces the most amount of turmeric, Gujarat and Rajasthan offers the most amount of cumin we use. Tamil Nadu gives the most amount of cloves. From financial year 2015, export of Indian spices have grown significantly. In financial year 2022, spices worth 29,000 crores rupees were exported. The United States is the biggest foreign market of Indian spices, and in financial year 2022, spices worth 4,400 crores were exported in the USA. Some other prominent importers of Indian spices are Bangladesh and UAE. During COVID pandemic, the spices industry faced issues due to logistics restrictions. However, things turned around pretty soon due to obvious demand. Also, many people, even doctors, advocated for using different spices to boost immunity naturally. This helped the Indian spices industry regain the market pretty fast. Considering the amount, chili powder is the most used spice in India, followed by cumin and turmeric. However, the statistics is not much significant because in cooking, quantity does not always mean taste. As an example, to cook spicy chicken curry, you need more chili powder than cardamom or fennel. It is just how our taste buds are satisfied. Moreover, if you cook simple dal, you will need cumin but not ginger. There are some brands which have been here for a long time and have a national presence, like Everest, MDH and Badshah. Apart from this, there are brands that are locally or regionally popular. In West Bengal, some popular brands are Cookme and JK. In Tamil Nadu, Achi and Annapurna are well-known brands. In Maharashtra, Catch is popular. Moreover, Rajesh Masala is well-known in Uttar Pradesh. The thing about spices is that many customers are brand loyal and they keep using same brands for years. On one hand, this is good for the brands that are present in the particular market for a long time, but on the other hand, it is an issue if the brand wants to expand to other locations. Most popular spices brands focus mostly on offline presence. Actually, these brands make enough money from offline market and hence they don't focus on online. In 2021, MDH made 4200 crores, MTR made 1000 crores, Everest made 2600 crores, Achi made 500 crores and so on in revenue. Majority portion of these sales are from offline market. In today's time, many customers prefer organic spices. Organic spices are those which don't use pesticides or synthetic chemicals in their cultivation and processing. Due to this demand, many new entrants like Anveshan, Organic Tattva, Pro Nature and Orica have started penetrating the market. Since COVID, online sales of spices in India has increased by 400%. Apart from whole spices and powders, another niche in this market is recipe-specific spices. Some examples can be meat masala, sambar masala, chole masala or fish curry masala, etc., where a blend of different spices are mixed proportionately for ease of use. These days, almost all brands are experimenting with such recipe-specific masalas. We also have some insights for you if you want to start your own spices business, but before that, I want to self-promote my decision making course. If you can make fast decisions based on critical analysis, you can save time and energy. It will avoid confusion and build up your own personality. In this course, you will know 13 ways to make decisions properly and also an easy blueprint to take big decisions easily. Contact for knowing more and scheduling individual or group classes. Two most important things in preparing grinded spices are maintaining the nutritional values and maintaining the aroma. Any customer will look for either or both of these factors while buying the spices. In order to enhance the aroma of the grinded spices, they are roasted. Cool grinding technology is a popular manufacturing process where the whole and roasted spices are grinded in room temperature to maintain its nutritional values. Setting up a manufacturing plant can go up to 30 crores rupees, though this is a standard manufacturing process used by big brands for high quantity yield. There are small level machineries with lower yield quantity. As an example, using our good old mortar and pestle, one can grind whole spices. Just like any other food products business, spices brands have to also get the FSSAI certification, which ensures the quality is up to the mark for consumption. Lack of quality is one of the biggest barriers in the spices industry. In order to start a spice business, you need to know in which area you want to enter: whole spices, powders, or recipe-specific spices. In each cases, you need to know which particular products you want to offer, and based on what you need to source raw spices. Earlier in this video, I mentioned which spices are grown the most in different states. Or if you want to save time, you can contact wholesalers too. Old Delhi's Kharibauli is the oldest spices market in the world, where people are selling spices for many generations. This is a suitable place to get whole spices in affordable rate. It is important to keep the manufacturing costs low because of market competition. 100 gram saffron costs almost 30,000 rupees, but 100 gram good quality chili powder is just about 60 rupees. Popular and old brands usually apply price leadership strategy, but new entrants may find this tactic hard. MRP of spices also depends upon brand value and pre-unit production cost. As an example, Achi's 100 gram chili powder costs 48 rupees, whereas Zoff takes 80 rupees. Achi has been able to keep the price low because as an older brand, it has more established distribution channels and thus it gets more number of sales due to brand recognition. There is a demand of organic spices, but the cost of organic spices is also affordable. Sunrise, Achi and Zoff are non-organic brands, and the price of 100 gram turmeric powder from these brands remain in the range of 23 to 50 rupees, whereas organic brands like Organic Tattva or Organic offer the product in 45 rupees. However, there are many other organic brands like Pure Organio and Sassajanyo that will charge more than 100 rupees for 100 gram turmeric powder. The reason for this price difference is due to manufacturing process. Organic brands often avoid machineries to grind the spices, which needs more manual labor and time. Hence, the yield is low and costs get higher. Think of it as a painting which takes 1 week to complete versus a digital image which takes 1 hour to complete. Based on the personal preferences, people can choose any brand. One major issue that is being faced by the spices industry is the aspect of health. Recently, FSSAI has found that lot of spice manufacturers add lead chromate to spices in order to enhance the color of the spices. Normal people like us often fall for glittering things and consume poisoned turmeric, chili and coriander powder. Apart from different disease, lead-added spices affect cognitive abilities of the children. This is actually a serious issue all over India. Recently, 2 spice manufacturer brands have been found guilty of using excessive amount of illegal substances and 25 factories have been closed. While this is a good news, it is also hard to identify all unethical practices due to the unorganized nature of this industry. However, with regular police raids and strict laws, we can maintain the authenticity of Indian spices. Saying that, we have come to the end of this video. We have discussed how India did spice business in the past and how it is going in the modern times. We also told you some tactics to enter the spice industry in India. If you found value in this video, please support us by liking and subscribing. Let us know if you have any questions. Comment down below what topics you want us to cover. We will make video on the topic. Dhanyabad and see you in the next video.